Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name's Lottie, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my monthly reading wrap up for the month of December, and I was debating doing one of these videos for the month of December, but I decided to just go ahead and do it because I like, personally, having them on my channel to look back on and have it documented, and I think it's fun to just sit and yap about books for 20 minutes. I definitely have a few holiday reads to include in this video, so I'll try to be a bit quicker with that, just since the holidays are behind us now, but I did find some other pretty good reads throughout the month that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I want to acknowledge I'm a little bit low energy today, and I'm not really sure why. I think I'm just feeling a little bit overwhelmed heading into the new year. I just need time to freeze for a few days so I can get my life organized before I have to go back to work and just all the things. I feel like the new year energy is so fun because I often feel so inspired, but at the same time I have so many ideas and so much inspiration that it can feel a bit overwhelming. So if anyone else is in that camp, I see you, I feel you. It's I almost get paralyzed and can't make a decision on what to do next because I feel overwhelmed with ideas. I also wanted to say I'm definitely feeling a little bit of the winter blues now that the holidays are over too. I know that filming a video and talking to you guys always lifts my spirits, so I thought it'd be fun to sit and just talk about books. So in the month of December, I actually read 18 total titles. I'm gonna say titles because I'm not gonna say that I read 18 books because that feels a little crazy and not necessarily true. I read 10 books and 8 novellas. And the reason I read so many books in the month of December is because I all of a sudden decided I was going to try to reach 100 books on my Goodreads challenge. I think I really probably read closer to 85 novels this year. All this to say, I just got on one about this and decided I wanted to try to hit 100 just for fun. So I was having fun just reading some shorter holiday reads, and that's that. Okay, so let's go through my December reading stats. In the month of December, I completed 18 total titles, 10 of which were novels, 8 of which were novellas. I'm gonna do a genre breakdown of the 10 novels that I read to start. 3 were mystery thrillers, 3 were holiday romance books, 3 were fantasy books, and 1 was a women's fiction book. And of those 10 novels, the total pages counted up to 3,603 pages, and my average rating of all the novels was 3.52 stars. Then from the 8 novellas that I read, the genre breakdown was 6 romance and 2 literary fiction. The total page count of the novellas was 673 pages, and my average rating of all of the novellas was a 2.5 star. So it was definitely a lower rated month. I don't think any 5-star reads this month. I just feel like it was just kind of an okay reading month for me. Okay, so the first book that I read in December was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I started off the month so busy with Bookmas, and I pulled the prompt to listen to an audiobook, and I actually ended up listening to this one on Spotify. This was a really popular mystery thriller book this year, and I really liked it. It did not disappoint. I highly recommend the audiobook. I think that is the best way to read Listen for the Lie would be to listen to it. It was nominated for Best Audiobook, I'm pretty sure, with Goodreads Choice this year, and I feel like it deserved it. This book had pretty simple sentence structures, but I was immediately hooked. The chapters are kind of dual POV in a sense. So you have our main female character, Lucy, and basically years ago, Lucy and her best friend, Savvy, were trying to go home from a wedding one night, and Savvy ended up brutally murdered, and everyone thought Lucy did it. And Lucy couldn't remember a single thing from that night. She couldn't tell you if she did it or not. She didn't know. She literally blacked out the whole night and somehow made it out okay. So now basically Lucy left town after that whole thing happened because everyone thought she did it and she was just ready for a fresh start. Now she's back in her hometown in Texas to celebrate her grandmother's birthday. So that is Lucy and Lucy's POV. And then you switch over to the podcast. There is this podcast called Listen for the Lie by Ben Owens. He is investigating Lucy's case, well, really Savvy's murder. And the best part about the audiobook is that the podcast is fully produced. It has a little jingle, it has a little intro. We have a different voice actor for Ben. It's just great. It's really immersive. So I just loved this on audiobook. The twist at the end of this book definitely got me. I didn't predict the ending. I wouldn't say it was the craziest twist ever. I wasn't blown away. I really liked this one. I gave it 4 stars. It was just a really great, solid mystery thriller to me. Okay, the next novel that I read in December was How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. If you saw my blind date with a book vlog from Bookmas, this is the book I read in that video. Spoiler alert. It's a retelling kind of how the Grinch stole Christmas. I thought this was a really well done Christmas book. I know it's getting a little bit of criticism. This book was definitely cheesy, but that's what you're signing up for with a Christmas romance book like this. You know what I mean? There were some spicy scenes in this book that were just a little over the top, but pretty memorable. I felt like it was like funny and a little bit camp. This book kind of like breaks the fourth wall a little bit. There's the narrator at the beginning of some of the chapters, which is really fun. I did really like it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think the main thing that I didn't love about it, I just felt like there was a little bit that could have probably been trimmed out of this because it was like 450 pages. It was just a bit too long. But other than that, I thought it was really well done. The next book that I read in December was Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is the first book in, I don't know, is it called the Belladonna series? I don't even know what the series is technically called. I feel like this was a book that was a little bit like right book, wrong time. I think I would have liked this a lot more if I'd read it in like October. It has really great like fall vibes, but I think I just was like craving more of like a wintry something. I don't know. This book's about our main female character, Signa Farrow, and she basically can like see death, and she's pretty much like immortal, like she can't die. And her parents died when she was really young. She basically goes to live on this new estate with this extended family that is going to take care of her now because all of her guardians keep dying mysteriously. And there's like a bit of like a murder mystery that she solves with death helping her. She also forms this alliance with this stable boy at the new estate. It's kind of set in like the Regency era, which is fun. And this is technically YA. This is a really unique storyline, very creative premise. And I thought the ending was really well done. I think I gave this one maybe 3.5, but I might up it to 4. I definitely want to continue the series at some point. I'm not in the mood for it right now, but I would definitely be curious to keep reading this maybe next fall. I have reading notes that I take on books, and my notes literally say, God, why is it so boring? Just didn't want to pick it up, didn't feel connected to the characters. The best thing about it is the macabre vibe. I think I just struggled to connect with any of the characters in this book. I did really like Signa. I just like, I don't know, I didn't connect with her for whatever reason. I think it was probably just right book, wrong time. Then I read The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I'm so glad to be done with this. I don't really want to talk about it. I think you guys know how I feel about these if you watch my videos. I went out and bought the first 3 books in this series all at the same time. Against my better judgment. And then I punished myself and made myself read all 3 of them when I didn't even like the first one. I should have just donated these to a little free library or something. There's so much better holiday romance than this. This was so boring. All of these books are just boring. And I won't be continuing this series, to say the least. I'm gonna give this one like a 2.5 stars. I hate to be a hater, but like it is fun to be a hater for a minute. And like if you like this book, I'm not hating on you at all. I could see why people like this series. I could see why people like this book. I read this one in my 24-hour reading challenge that I did for Bookmas, where I read Christmas books for 24 hours straight. It just isn't for me, and that's okay. I read A Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This is one of the holiday romance novellas in the Under the Mistletoe collection on Kindle Unlimited. I read this for the 24-hour reading challenge as well. This was the best one out of all of them. If you're gonna read any of them, read this one. That's really all I have to say. It's like childhood friends to lovers, kind of, and it was just cute. So then after that, I read Only Santa's in the Building. This one was okay. I think if you're gonna read another one, this was my second favorite if we're ranking them. This one was just a quick little holiday romance between 2 people who live in the same building. It was okay. Next, I read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. This one I also gave 4 stars. It was so solid. It had so many good vibes. It's kind of like a Knives Out Christmas book, but the 2 main characters are both authors. So it's kind of like a bookish book, which is also really fun. And then the setting is really cozy. It's in like a remote, I want to say it was like a Scottish castle. You're kind of trying to solve this like mystery, pretty strong subplot of romance. So you have kind of a little bit of everything, and I just ate it up. Loved it. Great recommendation if you need a holiday book. The next book I read in the month of December was The Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan. I read this one in the wee hours of the morning during my 24-hour reading challenge, so that definitely skewed my opinion on it, but I did really like this book. It kind of was giving like Ellen Hildebrand vibes, but a Christmas book. It's about these 3 friends who all have a book club together, so they go to this hotel for their book club retreat. It's just a great story of like female friendship, so I like this one a lot. I did feel like it dragged on a little bit, but I also was like reading it at the end of my 24-hour reading challenge. I just personally felt like it lost some of its charm when I was trying to binge it. So I gave this one 3.5 stars. I liked it. I would recommend it. I think I probably would have given it 4 stars if I'd read it at a different time, but Just gotta be honest. Okay, next I listened to on audiobook Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, and this is a literary fiction Christmas novella that is set in Ireland in 1985. I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. This was my favorite literary fiction kind of book of the month. It follows our main male character, Bill Furlong, who is a coal miner, and he has 5 daughters, I'm pretty sure, and a wife. This book is all kind of set around the context of the Magdalene laundries. It's definitely a serious topic that should be taken seriously, and I want to do it the right justice. So I will link like more information about the context of this book down below if you're curious to learn more. But I thought this book was really, really well done. I really enjoyed it. I could definitely see myself listening to or reading it again next holiday season, and it just kind of being like a classic that I come back to. It was recently, I think, Oprah's book club pick of the month. A lot of people have been talking about it lately, and I thought it was great. Anders read it too, and he really liked it. So definitely is a good holiday read as well. Okay, next I read Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I'd heard a lot of people say this is their favorite Frida McFadden book, and I definitely liked it, but I feel like it was a little overhyped for me. I think I gave this one 3.5 stars because, again, I liked it. I'd recommend it, but it didn't like stand out to me. It didn't like quite hit that like 4-star vibe for me. I don't even know how to describe Never Lie. It kind of like follows, basically you start off with this couple and they're going out to see this house that they're interested in buying, and then they get there and they get snowed in. They have to stay the night and they think it's just them there, but then they start to think there's someone else like maybe squatting in the house, and it's kind of creepy, and it just kind of like unfolds from there. Basically, the house also that they're staying in was previously owned by this psychiatrist named Adrian, and so you get these POV chapters between the main female character of the couple that's like snowed in at the house, and then with Adrian. That's kind of the setup of this book. It's very creepy. It was great to read in December because of the snowed in vibe. This is a great winter thriller if you're looking for one on Kindle Unlimited. I feel like Frida McFadden books get a little bit of criticism, and rightfully so, because they're a bit not like formulaic, but they do kind of start to blend together or like feel the same. Like Frida just knows what she's doing, and she pops these books out like every few months, but I eat them up every time. Like they're entertaining. They're good little thrillers if you need one. Then here's where we get into my like novella sprint, where I was like, okay, we're gonna try to get to 100. So I read the Nick and Charlie Heartstopper novella. I finished the official like graphic novel series back in November, but my friend Chloe actually got me the novella for my birthday a few months ago, and I kind of forgot about it, and then finally got to it. I don't know when you're supposed to read this. Probably would wait to read this till you finish all of the current graphic novels that are out, but it was cute. It was interesting to read. If you can see here, it was interesting to read like an actual words about Nick and Charlie and not read it in like a graphic novel format. But there were some pictures throughout. I read this in like an hour and a half over Christmas break. I ate it up. I eat it up every single time. I love Nick and Charlie. I gave it probably 4 stars. I mean, it wasn't like life-changing, but I loved it and was glad to get to that this month. All right, then I speed ran through the other 3 novellas in the Under the Mistletoe collection. I just like put these on and listened to all of them in like one day while I went on walks in my parents' neighborhood. So I started with Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey because I'd heard the worst things about this one. I was like just curious why people hated it so much, and I was in a whimsical mood to like hate listen to this book. And honestly, it was like funny how bad it was. So I think I gave all 3 of these 1 star. I feel like it's hard with novellas, especially with romance, because they feel so quick. I don't know that novellas are the best format for romance books when it's not like, it worked really well with Nick and Charlie because they were already like a couple. So you're just kind of getting to see like a small conflict and a small resolution from the 2 of them where you already kind of know their dynamic. Like I think that works a lot better. But with these, it's like all of a sudden these people like can't keep their hands off of each other and you know nothing about them. There's no like character development. So if you're just here for like the spice, this is a series for you. But for me, like I don't like getting to like the spicy scenes without earning them. Like I want to work for it. I want to have to read through like 150 pages of them like slow burning before we even have a hint of a kiss. So I think that's why for me they just like read really cringy and like ooh, I like didn't love them. Okay, moving right along. Next I read Christmas Romance by Catherine Walsh on Kindle Unlimited. This was so good. This was also a favorite book of the month. So like there was not like any 5-star standouts, but I will say Most Wonderful Crime of the Year and Holiday Romance, definitely my favorite Christmas books. I gave this one 4 stars and I really, really loved it. The Holiday Romance was just a super, super cute, quick holiday romance. Exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of a friends to lovers vibe. I think if you like People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which I really like People We Meet on Vacation. I'm not here for the People We Meet on Vacation slander. If you like it, I think you'd like Holiday Romance. This one was just super cute. Would recommend. Okay, then I read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This was on my December TBR. This one was really good. I gave it 4 stars as well. I didn't quite get that 5-star feeling with this one, but it was just so cute and I really, really did like it a lot. This story follows Linus Baker, and this is also kind of like fantasy, but it's like not Throne of Glass fantasy. It's kind of like Monsters Inc. fantasy. But basically Linus works in the department in charge of magical youth. So he's like a caseworker for, it's called Dicamy in the book, the department in charge of magical youth. He gets assigned this mission to go out to this orphanage and stay there for a month and kind of like audit the orphanage to make sure like everything's running okay and it's not like a danger. And it's just like a great book with a lot of great themes. I'm sure you've heard of this. If you haven't read it yet, definitely recommend. I don't want to say too much because it's kind of fun to go in blind to this one, honestly, but you have to listen to the audiobook of this one. I did a little bit of tandem listening and reading. The audiobook is incredible. The narrator does all these voices for all of the kids and the magical creatures in this book, and it just brought it to life so much. Like if you're going to read this, audiobook it, please. Just was very enchanting, very heartwarming. You could read this like at any age level. So I'm so glad I got to this one before the end of the year. It had been on my TBR for a long time and it was just magical and I loved it. So, okay guys, we're losing the light. I need to quickly get through the rest of these books. I just have two more. We have Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which Anders and I listened to on our drive down to the beach. We went to the beach for New Year's, and this one disappointed me, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty short book. It's like 200 pages, I want to say, and it has 4 kind of like short stories in it, and it's about this cafe in Japan where you can basically time travel to a specific like moment, but only for the duration of like before your coffee gets cold, basically. And I really liked the concept of it. It just was like so repetitive, and listening to it was just like not the move. I would definitely recommend reading this instead of listening to it. I was following along on my Kindle at certain points. It read so much better than it listened. And also this is one I just wouldn't binge. It's like 4 short stories. I would just read one every day or something for a week, but listening to them all back to back, it was like pretty predictable. It was pretty repetitive. And to be fair, it was translated from, I'm pretty sure Japanese is the original language that it was written in. And so of course there can be, things that didn't translate properly. So not a full like critique, of course, of the author or the writing or anything like that. But I will say like with the translation, it just like, I don't know, it just felt clunky to me at times. It had a sweet message, but I just was kind of like ready for it to be over. I think I gave this one just like a solid 3 stars. I definitely was like entertained, but I think I just had higher expectations for this one and it didn't quite meet them. So I was a little disappointed. It was okay. If you're super interested in the concept, maybe read. Okay, and then the very last book that I read in the month of December was The Christmas Book Hunt by Jenny Colgan. This is a short Christmas novella on Kindle Unlimited. It also had an audiobook. So I was like speed trying to listen to / read this one in the last few hours on December 31st. This is a really sweet, quick little novella. It is more of a literary fiction or like women's fiction vibe, and I definitely recommend this one. I think this one worked a lot better for me. It was a bit longer. It was like 120 pages or something like that, and so I feel like this one being a little bit longer gave it a little bit more time to develop. Basically, the plot of this one is that our main character has this like great aunt who is dying, and she had this book when she was young. It was like this special edition that really reminds her of like her father and her childhood, and she just really wanted to like be able to read a story. It was like a book of short stories, of children's stories, I'm pretty sure. So she wanted to like be able to read a story from it during her last Christmas, and her niece, who you're following, goes on a mission to find this book. And if you're a bookish person, which I'm assuming most of you guys are, if you like books about books, it was a really sweet little Christmas read. And like I said, I think a big lesson from this month is that the novellas that are more like literary fiction oriented are more my vibe, just because I feel like the romance ones, I don't know, they don't make you work for it at all. So this one did a really great job. Those are all of the books that I read in December. And I'm sorry if these weren't the most like thorough or in-depth reviews. Didn't want to bore you with a bunch of yapping about Christmas books when we are looking forward to January. But like I said, I just have fun like documenting my month of reading in a video like this, and it's just fun to sit down and talk to you guys. So before you go, let me know in the comments what was your favorite book that you read in the month of December. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up down below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel also if you're new here so you don't miss a video from me. And I think that's it for today, but I will see you super soon in my next video. Bye everyone.